Russell Simmons, he's the king of hip-hop and urban fashion, and now he has a new TV show. Welcome to Wall Street Journal Weekend Conversations. I'm Lee Hawkins, and welcome to the David Rubenstein Atrium at the Lincoln Center. Thank you so much, Russell, for coming. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Where are those words?
There are no words, no teleprompter.
Oh, you're looking at the camera.
Yeah,
I
we're
thought
ready.
you were reading a teleprompter. Okay.
And I want to talk to you right away about this show that you have. Tell me about that show.
Well, I produced my brother's show, Reverend Run, and his family, and kind of scripted his future, the way his family was being raised, his reality, and it was a fun show, and it kind of, promoted, his values, his ideas, and he always said his show was his pulpit. And then I started to produce my ex-wife's show, and it was at one network, and we were like, no, we can't do this because we only want, we have lots of realities, and our reality is more inspiring than that. So we moved to another network, and that went well. And then my nieces had a show, and I was on many other shows. And I found that reality shows are really good places to inspire people or lift them or give them good ideas, and they're not being used as vehicles for that so much. And I thought I might be able to do a reality show and speak, about animal rights and gay rights and violence in the hood, and it goes on, many subjects. And so we cover all those subjects and more. And it's a fun show. It's on 7th Avenue, Fashion Avenue, where we run our clothing company, and it's kind of a fun, exciting experience making this show.
And this really focuses on your whole staff, right? And the way that
I'm sorry, yes. And the subjects are the girls who've worked with me for many, many years.
All right. What up, Russ? What's going on, baby?
The first meeting of the day is for Argyle Culture with Mayor and Kevin. Kevin is our resident metrosexual who always makes sure Russell's designs are fly.
Primary colors are nice, the vest is good. That says Argyle Culture when I look at it.
You're gonna sell a lot of those. This is the money shot.
Mayor is our marketing genius and quiet storm because he always has something brewing.
What you feel?
I feel it. It feels like
What
cashmere.
about this right here? This is cotton as
Oh, it's
well.
flavor. The color is flavor. These are the colors that would look great in the shoot.
We're getting ready for the big launch of Argyle Culture's fall line.
Now this is hot. I want this in the photo shoot.
Why you always gotta throw it on?
There's one girl who has worked with me since she was 15, and now she's been with me for 27 years, since before Def Jam. Simone Reyes, who's probably the lead character, and another girl, Christina, who's been with me 15 years. And then some other women, because it's a women's network, and we thought it'd be nice to tell it through their eyes, who are, senior executive. One is the president of my internet company, and there are many characters, but these are some of the leads, and then it's about my office.
Okay. And you have so many businesses that you've gone into: financial services, the clothing company, television. How do you decide which businesses to get into?
Well, the girls tell me. No, I choose these businesses based on, these creative whims, but things that really inspire me. I only work where I feel I'm going to have a good time and where I can do something that really matters. Like my financial service company, for instance, I believe can change banking. Mm-hmm. I think it's cheaper to use my Unirush service and build credit and transfer money and watch your budget, and all these kind of things are cheaper than if you were to get a free Bank of America account. It's cheaper. And so a lot of Americans don't have access to that account, and a lot of Americans pay too much to operate from one.
And even though you're involved in all these other businesses, I find, having interviewed you a few times, that people always say, this guy is a music mogul. They tend to think of you as a music guy, which you have been in the past, but you do so much more. But what would you do right now to leverage iTunes if you were strictly running a
I don't know. I'm not a music
record
mogul.
company?
I wouldn't know how. I mean, it's just I've been out of the music business for a long time, and I really don't know what to do with iTunes. Know any more than the people who work in the record business do. So it's not something I can comment on.
Okay, but you've inspired so many people, music moguls that have come behind you, everyone from Diddy to Jay-Z.
Diddy, I don't know. He said if you're not drinking Ciroc, you're drinking piss. And that's a big business for him. He's created coconut vodka. I don't drink, but I had a sip of coconut vodka. It was really good. So these guys are doing a lot of stuff. I mean, Jay-Z owns basketball teams. I mean, they do different stuff.
And even
they
the
own
Williams
clothing
brothers
companies.
in Miami,
They own,
yeah.
Huh?
The Williams brothers in Miami,
Yeah.
Cash Money. Out of all of these people, though, who's impressed you the most?
They all impress me. at different moments. You know, it's like people ask, "What's your favorite record?" What's on the radio right now. You know, I mean, it changes by the moment. Inspiration, you find different special things about different people, moment to moment. You know, so I don't really have a favorite, but I do. You know, the ones I know most about, I probably like the most, right? Like I like all of the things that.
The New York guys.
No, not only. No, I like all of them a lot. You know, the ones who I know, and the more I know them, the more I like Snoop. I like his football league.
Okay.
He does to prevent gang violence.
Right.
And I like his music, so I like him. I like 50 Cent and all of the businesses that he's getting into and how he, you know, has evolved as a person. And I like Diddy, obviously, because of all the philanthropic and social and political stands he takes, and the same with Wycliffe for sure. So they all, you know, have special attributes.
And you've evolved a lot over the years. You started out really as a mogul, even in the 80s, as the head of this new movement called hip-hop. How have you evolved since then?
Well, a lot of my energy is focused on, always the hip-hop culture has broadened and spoken to a lot of people, and it's spoken from a place that people have been voiceless previous to they having this huge voice. Where jazz and where blues and where rock and roll came from, there was this underbelly, and then there was this affluent group that were more visible and made pop of those, you know, more accessible, those ideas. But hip hop kind of held control of its own voice, and that voice is still about, you know, it's a view of America and a view of our social or political system or condition that is not heard enough. And so I like that they have this big voice, and so it's evolved to become more mainstream, you know, without having changed its perspective. And I think that's very inspiring, and it just keeps, you know, I like just watching it evolve. Personally, I spend more time on directing its energy. I run 5 charities, and I'm involved in many others, social and political causes and work. So I like getting them involved in the different things or helping them set up their philanthropic efforts. So I like that a lot. That's become like my globalgrind.com, my internet site, although it speaks to hip hop, speaks to kind of an urban graduate. My new fashion company is the Urban Graduate. Like Obama grew up on my clothes, but he's too old to wear Phat Farm, and that's, you know, a young man's. So Argyle culture is a new expression.
Okay.
So my expressions are like more, you know, for guys who grew up on hip hop, as opposed to the always being, you know, this core young group.
And how is Argyle different from the Phat Farm stuff?
It's a men's company. It sits in the men's department, sits next to Ralph Lauren, as opposed to next to the young men's companies.
And you're a spiritual person. You've also been very political with the controversy around the mosque by the 9/11 site. You posted the word coexist in the windows of your apartment overlooking the site. You started with the Islamic crescent for C and then the Christian cross for T. What inspired you to do that?
It's what I do. I'm the chairman of the Foundation for Ethnic Understanding. We have hundreds of programs around the world where the mosques and the synagogues twin. We call them twinning programs. Imam Rauf, for instance, he's one of our lead supporters. And so he is part of our twinning program. He was, as you know, he worked for President Bush and others to promote religious tolerance and worked with our government on many occasions to promote interfaith dialogue. And so it was very easy to take a side, and it didn't matter that it wasn't so much about him. It was about the First Amendment, and it made perfect sense, but that's what I do for a living, and it makes perfect sense to have my voice as big as my windows. I have big windows outside of the hole in the ground.
And financial empowerment is another sort of altruistic cause that you've taken on because of what inspired that?
Well, you know, the financial condition of a lot of people in America. We're suffering and we don't have enough education, and or we're not financially literate, and so the best we can do to change that, we do. So that and the other things that surround having a good relationship with the world, both financially and otherwise, subjects of my books.
Right, in your new book, Super Rich.
Super Rich is not coming out for a couple of months, but it's a follow-up to Do You, and Oprah sold a lot of those copies, and it's about the same subject. It's about, how do you go to work every day and build wealth and spiritual value, which is key, or happiness. So, and how that promotes more wealth. So that's what the books are about. That's what my work is in terms of empowerment. A big part of it's about. But my business is actually about in
Right.
my financial service company.
And with all the experiences that you've had, you're in a really good position to get advice. But do you have to give advice? But do you have mentors?
They change by the day as well. All kinds of mentors from, every walk of life. People inspire me.
Who are some of those people?
They, I like Mark Snyder, who I work with. Rabbi Snyder, he's the chairman of the World Jewish Congress. He's a great guy. I like, I like him because I work with him every day. I like Dr. Ben Chavis and the work that he did with the Million Man March and Million Family March, and he runs the Hip Hop Summit for us. It just goes all over. The people who I'm inspired by Quincy Jones. I'm inspired by President Obama. I know these.
What is your relationship like with the president?
I'm just another supporter. Cordial. I saw the First Lady the other day. I think it's important to put meditation and yoga, I should say quiet time and stretching in school. But it's true. Kids who don't sit 7 hours at a desk, like in New York, without any gym class or anything, you can just move the desks aside. So we've been talking about, we have pilot programs with Joe Klein here in New York, and I want to spread it around the country. And quiet time, how much it matters to a kid to be able to sit still for 10 or 15 minutes, in silence, and how it, inspires them to be able to listen and focus. So that's important, and we have great success stories around the country. I'm on the board of the David Lynch Foundation. We've given hundreds of thousands of kids meditation classes, and then made schools transform themselves through this process.
And you have your own kids.
Yes, I do.
What do you expect them to take over the family business, and what should that look like if they do?
I don't know what they, whatever they want to do is fine by me. I want them to have happy lives. I don't care what they do. Yoki's a meditator, but then she's a performer. And Ming's an artist, and then she's a little bit more shy. I don't know, whatever inspires them. I'd like for them to be alive and awake and conscious. I try to teach them little things. I talk about the abuse of the animals, take them to meet, animals who have been saved or rescued, and talk about their history, how one animal escaped and he's famous, and so that's why he's here. The rest are on your plate. I think that the abuse of the animals and the abuse of each other and abuse of the environment, and I think some of these things are just because people just aren't aware of what they're doing. The 10 billion suffering farm animals, I just think do I look sick? I'm older than you are, much older than you are. I looked sick before.
look young.
20 years ago I looked sick, but I don't eat animals or abuse,
Right.
or dairy or egg or fish and none of that stuff.
And you sit up here, you're very socially conscious, you're involved in a gazillion charities, and you're the godfather of the hip-hop movement. Has hip-hop music been unfairly stigmatized? Because look at
They're the
what
poets,
you've
that's
evolved
their job. They're the poets. The poets are never really so easily accepted. They look inside, they make statements of fact about our community. Sometimes they make inspiring statements. Sometimes they just call out our condition. We're a sexist, racist, abusive society. And when they say it, you're like, oh my God, why'd they say that? Like, that's new
Right.
to you, Well, they're not sexist as their parents. They're not as racist as their parents. They're not as, they're not as, they're much homophobic as their parents. But they point out that we still have those attributes. They're still us, And they say these things and we're shocked by them. We just don't say them, we just act on them.
And right now you came with the Yankee hat on.
It just matches.
What do you
Everybody
think?
keeps asking me this.
No.
I'm a Yankee fan, but I'm not, I'm not like a coach or anything.
You're not a coach or anything, but growing up, you were probably a Yankee fan, right?
Yeah, I was a Yankee fan.
What do you think?
It was so long ago, you wouldn't even remember. It's like Babe Ruth or something. I can't, but I think now.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
What
that
are
we have
their prospects?
Well, we've won 2 games in a row before. That ain't nothing. We're more likely to win 2 games in a row than win 1 and lose 1, I think. I don't know if that's true, but we're close to it. We're more likely to do that.
Well, we're going to be watching for that. Russell Simmons, thank you so much for coming. Ladies and
We didn't mention,
gentlemen.
wait, we talk about the show? They're gonna be mad at me. Did we talk about having a
Yeah,
show?
we talked about the show.
Oh, God, God.
Unless there's something else you want to say about it.
No, it's on November 2nd, and and again, it's about, you know, the office and the work that we do. A lot of it's social and philanthropic and semi-political, and a lot of it's fun and fashion and business, you know, so it begins November 2nd
And
on
it's,
Oxygen.
Oxygen, 10 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah, he gets it.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll be looking for you. Thank you so much, Russell
Thank you.
Simmons.
My pleasure.